A terrifying ordeal at New Orleans International Airport this weekend, raising new questions about airport security. A TSA agent shot and killed a man who was wielding a machete and carrying a bag of Molotov cocktails. Joining us now is someone who says airport security is still woefully inadequate. Senior lead officer at LAX Airport and president of the Los Angeles Airport Peace Officers Association, Marshall McClain. Mr. McClain, thanks for being here.
Good morning, Allison. Thanks for having me.
So this attack was terrifying, and it really exposed some vulnerability that still exists at airports. How can someone with a weapon run through security?
Well, that is troubling. This is something that was brought up in 2012 by our organization, myself and President Paul Nunziato from Port Authority Police. We went and met with then TSA Administrator Pistol and raised these concerns. Those 5 areas, and this is one of the areas that we talked about could happen.
Let me get to those 5 areas, those 5 recommendations that you believe would actually save lives. This is what you proposed in 2012. Let me read those for our viewers. You say fortify the TSA screening area. Makes sense. You say TSA should immediately report to police in the event of an incident. You say have a central repository for all airport cameras with real-time access. You say there should be mandatory screening for all employees, including TSA personnel. And you say have definitive roles laid out between airport police and the TSA. These suggestions are so commonsensical. Please tell us that these were immediately implemented.
I wish I could. And you're right, they are common sense. We thought they were, but some are still not in place today. For example, after TSA changed their uniforms and went to the metal badges, I know at LAX specifically, they stopped screening all TSA employees. They claim that the metal badges...
Yeah, explain that. What is the thinking? Why wouldn't they screen TSA employees?
Well, they claim the metal badges would set off the metal detectors, but that's pretty ludicrous, seeing that everyone, when they're going through a screening checkpoint, has to be searched except for on-duty law enforcement. Even if the mayor was flying out of LAX, he would go through screening.
Yes.
The chief of police would go through screening.
I mean, and given what we now know about ISIS and other terrorists who are always looking for a loophole, it just feels as though it would make sense to screen everyone. Is it possible that they will do that now at airports?
Well, I don't think it will happen unless it's mandated. We've been working with several members of Congress. Our current mayor, Mayor Garcetti, is very supportive of law enforcement here, unlike, unfortunately, some of the other areas. They don't have the support of their mayors, and some Congress folks are not in support of local law enforcement. With respect to everything that's going on right now, what happened in San Francisco with the drug ring, what happened in Atlanta with the weapons getting through and being stolen, weapons being sold, this is absolutely the time to have mandatory screening. But it has to be mandated, otherwise people will not do it. There's no reason why they shouldn't, but it has to be forced upon them, unfortunately.
Are TSA agents armed?
They are not.
At one time, police officers were stationed right around the screening checkpoint alongside of TSA agents. But 5 years ago, that went away. What happened? Well,
again, that was a mandate that came down from the Hill, from Department of Homeland Security, TSA. That was a mandate after 9/11 that there would be a law enforcement officer in close proximity. That mandate was loosened, and as most things would happen, if it's not regulated, then it went away. LAX is one of the last airports to still have police officers in the general vicinity at a screening station. Our compromise here is to have at least a 300-foot rule where you don't necessarily have someone sitting as a sitting duck in a podium, but they're able to roam around but still being able to quickly respond to an incident, not having to wait for TSA to pick up a phone or let you know that something's happening. You at least be in proximity to respond quickly.
See, Mr. McClain, what's so baffling about all of this is that we all have to take off our shoes. We all have to empty out our laptops. We all have to go through all of these hoops when we go through security. And to hear your reports of how it is still woefully inadequate. What is the answer to fortifying airport security today?
Well, myself and again, Paul Nunziato from Port Authority, these are two of the largest airports, Category X airports. What we suggested was not to try and tackle every airport in the United States, but let's start with the Category X airports, the busiest traveled airports, and come up with common sense standards that everybody can get their arms around.
Right.
If we simply leave it to the airport operators, they're going to cut costs, they're going to look at their bottom line, and unfortunately public safety is not always paramount in their list of agendas.
All right, let's hope that they take some of your suggestions. Marshall McClain, thanks so much for sharing them with us.
Thank you for having me on.
Let's get to Michaela.
All right.
It appeared to me to be protection against the lone wolf scenario.
When you say lone wolf, are you talking about somebody, a lone wolf that has access to the that's credentialed employee?
That guy right there that just walked in with a backpack, with a mug. We don't know what's in his backpack. We don't know what's in his mug, and we don't know what is in his heart or in his head.
That's correct.
Does that concern you?
It concerns me all the time.